So your exam is on the 4th of June, paper 2, Maths, Edexcel, AQA, OCR. Okay, so today we'll be going through a predicted paper 2. Okay, so some of the topics that are included in paper 2 or paper 3 as well would be ratio, really likely to come up, compound interest, the product rule for counting / the number of outcomes. I'll explain what that means if you're not sure. Probability, so tree diagrams or successive events. Algebraic fractions, most definitely going to come up. Direct proportion, so this could be in different forms, quite like applied forms as well. Bounds, bounds likely to come up and quite a difficult question on it as well. Circle theorems, straight lines and graphs and y equals mx plus z. 3D Pythagoras, we've already said probability and I spelled that horrendously wrong. Scatter diagrams, frequency polygons, expanding triple brackets, and then like averages from frequency tables. So this is for paper 2 or 3. It could come up on either paper, and this is obviously a calculator paper. So let's go through this first question to start off with. Let's get my beautiful pen and let's make it black, nice and basic. So it says Rosie, Matilda and Ibrahim collect stickers. The number of stickers that Rosie has to the number of stickers that Matilda has to the number of stickers that Ibrahim has is 4 to 7 to 15. And then it says Ibrahim has 24 more stickers than Matilda. Okay, so you've got Rosie, Matilda and Ibrahim. Okay, and we could potentially write this as 4x to 7x to 15x, okay? And then we know Ibrahim has 24 more than Matilda. So if we do 15x, take away 7x, that is going to give us 15 Ibrahim, take away Matilda is 24, right? So then what we can do is we know that's 8 and 8x is equal to 24. And so x would be 24 divided by 8, which is 3. Okay, so then we can work out how much each person has. Okay, so Rosie has 4 times 3, Matilda has 7 times 3, Ibrahim has 15 times 3. Okay, so that's 12 to 21 to 45. And then Ibrahim has 45 stickers while Rosie has 12. So we just do 45, take away 12, and that is going to give us 33. So Ibrahim has 33 more stickers than Rosie. So that's my answer. Now question 2. This is on compound interest. So it says Katie invests £2,000 in a savings account for 3 years. The account pays compound interest at a rate of 2.5% for the first year, X% for the second year, and X% for the third year. So what we could do is we can find out after 1 year by doing the principal amount times by the multiplier, which was going to be 1.025. Okay, and that's for the first year, so just kind of to the power of 1. And that is going to give us £2,050. Okay, then I know that, think about how we get our multiplier here. So we do 100 plus the percentage, so that's 102.5 over 100. And that gives us 1.025. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start on the 2050. Let's scroll down a bit. I'm going to start on the 2050 I'm going to times it by some number, let's say 100, plus x, because I'm trying to find the x percent, over 100. But now to the power of 2, because look, x doesn't change for the second and third year. Okay? And that is going to give me 2,124.46. Okay? And then I can get this, which is basically just 1 plus x over 100 squared is equal to that divided by that. So 2,124.46 divided by 2,050, that's 1.0363. Okay? Then what I could do is I can square root the right hand side first of all. Okay? And that is going to give me x is equal, or let's do x over 100, is equal to 0.017, blah, blah, blah. And then I can just times it by 100. So x is 1. Oh, no. Sorry, guys. Let's go back. Yeah, so x is here 1.7%. Okay? There might be a slight round. Okay, let's do 1.79. So 1.8%. And that is the rate of interest. So that's what your x will be. Okay, for question 3 then. Question 3 is asking us to write this algebraic division in this format. So we know that anytime we get a question like this, we're going to first factorize. So we're going to do 6x cubed. You can't really factorize that. We're going to factorize this. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to, what I could do is if I divide out the 3, I will get x squared minus, and then if let's do 144 divided by 3, which is 48. So I could do, okay, but that's not going to work. Okay, but this is a calculator paper, so you could literally just put it in the quadratic formula to factorize it as well. Or just realize that it's 3x minus 12, 3x plus 12, which I've just realized. Sorry about that. So 6x cubed over 3x plus 12, 3x minus 12. That was very silly of me. Times by 3x minus 4. And I'm going to times it and change this. So find the reciprocal of that. 2x to the power of 4. Okay. But look, it's x minus 4 here. So what we could even do further is take the 3 out for each of these two brackets. Because you want to simplify it as fully as you can. So take the 3 out and have x plus 4. And then times it by 3 and then x minus 4. Then times it by 3x minus 4 over 2x to the power of 4. So cancel that. You have 3 here, so you can literally just cancel all of it. You'll be left with 1x at the bottom. And then you could cancel the 3 with that 3 and 6 with this 3, and you get 2 there. And then you can cancel the 2 with the 2. So there's like a lot of cancelling. So at the top, I will literally be left with 1, which is literally what I want. And then at the bottom, I'll be left with x and x plus 4. Okay, so that is my final answer, where r is an integer and it's 4. Okay, so this was, again, it wasn't too tricky, but this part could have tripped a lot of people up. So when you get from this to this, you have to factorize it further. Otherwise, you can't really cancel anything out unless you expand that out, which we don't really tend to do expansions in algebraic fractions. Okay, you are very likely to get a direct proportion question. So it says x is directly proportional to the square of y. And I'm literally writing it as I'm going along. Y is directly proportional to, I'm going to use a different letter. So let's just say t, z cubed. Okay, and I can't keep this as the same letter because it's talking about two different relationships. So now it says when z is 2, x is 32. So what I need to do is I need to get x, but in terms of z. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write x is equal to, instead of y, I'm going to sub in tz cubed. And I can change this to an equal sign as well. So I'll get k, and then instead of y, I'm going to write tz cubed, because that's what y is. Okay, so x is equal to k and then tz cubed to the power of 2. And then what I could do is I can sub in x and I can sub in z. And I could find out what my kt squared is. So if I expand this out, I will actually just get kt squared, z to the power of 6 is equal to x. Let's move on here. So then I'll get 32 is equal to kt squared, and then z is 2, so 2 to the power of 6, okay, which is 64. So 32 is equal to kt squared times 64. And then I could get kt squared is 32 over 64. Okay, which is just a half. So instead of kt squared, I can literally just write a half into here. So x is equal to a half, because this is a half of z to the power of 6, because I'm literally keeping that but subbing in a half for that. So that is my formula for x in terms of z. Now you're not actually getting to any particular solution, you just need to write a formula here. Okay, this is a bounds question, and this is quite an easy one, so I'm going to go through it quite fast. You want to find the lower bound, so you know you want to find the lower bound for the length of an edge of the cube, and you so far know that AH is 11.3. Okay, so the lower bound of AH, because it's correct to the nearest millimeter, is 11.25. But you want like this. So what you're going to need to do here is, you know that, let's label this as x. This would also be x. Then I would do x squared plus x squared for that, and then this would also be x. So I know that if I do x squared plus x squared, that's going to give me FH, and I need to add it to x squared to get AH, which is 11.25 squared. So it's quite hard to visualize, but x squared and x squared, that's going to give me FH, which I need to know to find out AH, or to find out what x is in this case. And then AF is x squared as well, so then I just add the answer to that, which is going to give me that. Okay, so that's going to give me 3x squared is equal to 11.25 squared, and then at the end just divide it by 3 and then root it. So x would be 6.5. So the answer for the lower bound is 6.5. Okie dokie, next question. Here you have to find the size of angle CDE. So this angle. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look and search and think about the circle theorems that I know. So I know that's 132, so that must be 66, because angles at the circumference are half of angles at the center. Okay, next I know that BCD that's a cyclic quadrilateral. So if I do 180 minus 66, I get 114. Okay, so I get 114 because angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. Okay, and then I could work out what this is by thinking about what's going on here. So I have 16. I then would also have this because it's on a straight line, and then I can just work out that. So I can just do 180 minus 66 minus 16, and that gives me 98. So this angle here is 98. So the first thing I'm going to write down is that BAD, to get all the marks, is that BAD 66, because angles at the circumference is half the center. Then the next thing I'm going to write is the angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180. Those two are the key points that you definitely need to write. Okay, so BCD, that is 114 because angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add to 180. Cyclic quadrilateral add to 180, and then you can just do the rest of it. Okay, this is a tricky one. It just trips people up, but it's not actually that difficult, and it can sometimes come up in different ways in the foundation paper as well, but I don't know why it just trips everyone up. But draw a diagram. So the points L and N are such that L and N are in a straight line. The coordinates of L are minus 3, 1, so let's say somewhere here. M, it's 4, 9, so here, and then it's a straight line, so we could say N, we don't know, but it's somewhere there. Okay, I always like to draw a diagram. That's minus 3, 1, that's 4, 9, and we want to find the coordinates of N if they're in the ratios 2 to 3. So firstly, we want to find the difference here and here. Well, the X difference here, I should have drawn this diagram bigger, is 7 because it's minus 3. It's the difference between minus 3 and 4. And the Y difference is 8, okay? So that refers to two parts. So to get one part, you'd basically just halve both of these. So you'd get 3.5 and 4 in terms of what one part is. And so we know that to get 3 parts, we'd have to times it by 3. So 7 plus 3.5, that's 10.5 and 12. So now we need to add this on to this coordinate 4, 9. So 4 add 10.5, so that gives me 14.5. That is for the X coordinate of N. So the X coordinate of N is 14.5. And then if we do 12, add, what are we adding on? Add on to 9, sorry. Yeah, so that's 21. So my answer is 14.5 and 21. So draw it out, think about it. What I would say is the difference between the x's is 7 and an 8, and that refers to the ratio of 2 because LM is the ratio 2. So I found one part by halving both of those. Then I timesed it by 3 here. So I found the 3 parts, which is from M to N, and then I have to obviously add it on to the coordinates of M, which is 4, 9. Okay, a nice 3D Pythagoras question. We're actually nearly done, guys, so just power through. FAH, so we want to find out FAH. I don't have a ruler, so it's a bit annoying, but that's the angle that I want. So what I would do is I know that AD, it's 9, so I'll write that down, FD, which is here, is 13. Now think about what I would need to work out FAH. This is one of the lines that I would need, okay? And then I can go about it because I know the angle GHF as well. So I know this angle GHF. So I know that angle, okay? And I know that GH is 9 as well. And I know that's 49. So break it down. A lot going on here actually. So what I can do is let's draw the base out. So FGH, let's draw that part out, okay? This is F, this is G, which is 90 degrees, even though it doesn't look like it, but that's the base. This is H. This angle here, GHF, it's 49. And GH, because AD is 9, GH is 9 as well. And that's a right angled triangle. No matter how much it doesn't look like one, it is. Okay, because it's this corner here. We know that to work out, I hope I'm not confusing everyone here. We know that to work out FH, we need, to work out FAH, we need to know FH and AF. AF is quite easy to work out because that's just this, we know that's 9, this is 13, this is right angled. So we can use Pythagoras. So we could do 13 squared, take away 9 squared. That's going to give us 169, take away 81, and that is root 88. So we know that that is root 88. We need to know that. And we also need FH. And to work out FH, I can simply use the cosine rule because I'm working the hypotenuse out. And I know the adjacent is 9. So cos of 49 is adjacent, which is 9, over the hypotenuse, which you want to work out. So the hypotenuse, if we do 9 over cos 49, the hypotenuse is 13.7. Okay, and once we have that, we now can work this angle out. This is A, this is F, this is H. We want FAH. We know AF is root 88 and FH is 13.7. Okay, so we could just use tan rule, opposite over adjacent. So we can use tan of an angle is opposite, which is 13.7, over adjacent, which is root 88. And that is going to give me, let's just do the inverse all in one go. It's going to give me 56 degrees. Okay, and that is my size of angle FAH. This is a tricky one. If you need to draw it out, even think of it like a 3D box, do that, because it's a tricky one, but you will get a 3D Pythagoras question that is quite tricky as well. Next question. So a circle has the equation x squared plus y squared is 12.25. The point P lies on the circle. The coordinates of P are 2.1 and 2.8. The line L is a tangent to the circle at point P. Find the equation of L. Okay, so let's draw this circle. We know center's 0 and it's got like 12.55, so we could work out the radius. And then point P is on the circle at like 2.1, 2.8, so let's say somewhere there. And that's point P, okay? So let's write that. And L is a tangent at point P, so it's going to be like negative for sure. It's going to be something like that. So find that equation. So firstly, we know that's perpendicular to whatever this is. And this is 2.1 along, 2.8 up. Yeah. So we know that we could work out the gradient of that line. And then find the negative reciprocal using that. Or another way what you could also do it, another way that you could also do this, actually let's do it like that. So you're going to have 2.8 divided by 2.1 and that's going to be, give me 1 second, I've just lost my calculator. Okay, let's just write it as 28. What am I doing? 28 over 21. And then divide it by 7. So 4 over 3. So that's the gradient of this line. And then the gradient of the negative line is going to be minus 3 over 4. X plus c. But we want the equation. So what we're going to do now is do the y1, y take away y1, x take away x1, all of that. So y take away y1, which is 2.8, is equal to minus 3/4 of x take away x1. And then we're going to multiply multiply both sides by 4. Okay, so we get 4y minus 11.2 is equal to minus 3x plus 6.3. And then we will get 3x plus 4y is equal to 17.5. Okay, and that is what you want. So that's how you do it. So you want to find the gradient of this. Let's call it line 1, and then line 2 is what they're asking you. Okay, next question, and last question actually. So there's only red counters and yellow counters in a box. 3/5 are red. So if you take at random 2 counters from the box, the probability is that 2 counters the same color is 41 over 80. Work out the number of yellow counters in a box. Okie dokie. So what we would do here is, you could do it in multiple ways. You could draw a tree diagram. So red and yellow counters. Red is 3/5. So yellow would obviously be 2/5. And then if you take 2 counters at random from the box, you would need to think of it as okay, this could be a bit tricky to think about actually. Okay, but let's just write it as 3x minus 1 over 5x minus 1. So that would be, let's think of it all as x, because we know the total. We want to work out the number of yellow counters in the box. Yeah, so that would be 3x minus 1 over 5x minus 1. And for yellow, 2x minus 1 over 5x minus 1. That's for red, red, yellow, yellow, and that's all we need. And that's equal to 41 over 80. Okay, so what we are going to do now, let's write it as 3x over 5x because we don't know the counters. So 3x over 5x times 3x minus 1 over 5x minus 1 for red. Or, so we're going to use add for or 2x over 5x times by 2x minus 1 over 5x minus 1. That is going to equal 41 over 80. Okay, and then you have quite a lot of algebra to solve. So it's not a nice question for the absolute last one. But what we could do is we can make them all common. Well, you've already got these two common, so you can just add the top. So you would have 9x squared minus 3x, add 4x squared minus 4x all over 25x squared minus 5x. Then you could actually just simplify that and then cross multiply. So 9 plus that, so it's going to be 13x squared minus 7x times by 80 is equal to 41 times by 25x squared minus 5x. Okay, tricky. Hope you guys are following along, because this is not the easiest question. So that's 1040x squared minus 560x, and that is, what's 41 times 25? Put that in your calculator. 1025x squared minus 205x. So then what would we do? You can take that away from that. Let's see if I actually get the answer here even. So 1025 take away 1040. Sorry, the other way around. So 1040 take away 1025, that's 15x squared. And that's minus 205, add 560. That's 355. So divide that by 15. Oh no, I don't get the right answer. Where have we gone wrong? Minus 2. Oh wait. That should be minus 400. Okay. Yeah, that should be minus 400. So minus 205, add 400. That is 195, and then 195 divided by 15 is 30. X squared is 13. Whoops. I'm not having a great end to this session, am I? But the answer is x is equal to 13. So just try and follow along and make a little bit of sense of it. If you're not aiming for grade 9, I wouldn't worry too much about a question like this. Maybe try and get a few method marks. If you're aiming for a grade 9, then have a rewatch, even through my whole mistakes and stuff. And then mark your work as you go through the video. Total marks 50. So I hope you guys did well and found that beneficial. I will be doing it for paper 3 as well, and I will be trying to upload as much as I possibly can to help you guys out for free. I also had some classes going on, so I have like a whole timetable for June with loads of different classes going on, going through loads of different predicted papers, predicted questions, so this isn't the only one. But if you'd like to join them, you can comment below, you can email me, message me, and I will add you. Just to let you know, these will be very small groups, and hopefully they'll be really, really beneficial. So if you'd like to join them, please do so. They will be mainly on these topics. And if you guys aren't sure, just a little bit about me, okay? You can have a read through that as well, and I'll just end the video now. So good luck with your paper 2.